Hey church, Harrison here, and I wanted to just bring you a devotional today, give you something to consider as you go about your day. And I want to bring you to Psalm chapter 34. Psalm 34, verse 17 and 18, it says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears, and he delivers them out of all their troubles." Verse 18 says, "The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and he saves such as have a contrite spirit." I want to just give you 4 things to consider about our God. First one is this, that our God hears. It says the righteous cry out and he hears their cry. Once you know God has lent his ears towards you. His ears are not stuffed up with everybody else's requests, everybody else's needs, everybody else's prayers. His ears aren't so stuffed up that he can't hear you. No, he's not so preoccupied with everybody else that he's not going to listen to you. No, when you cry out to him, he hears. When you cry out, it's as if you're the only one in the earth. He hears exactly what you're saying. He's God. He has the ability to hear everybody's prayers at the same time and each give them individual attention. I want you to know that in this season, as you pray and as you bring your requests before God, they don't fall on deaf ears. The heavens are not brass. We serve the God that leans down and lends his ear toward us. He's the God that hears. Here's the second thing I want you to consider. He's the God that delivers. The end of verse 17 says, God delivers them out of all of their troubles. That word delivers in the original language literally means he snatches them up out of. Almost it's this idea of snatching someone out in the nick of time. It speaks to us in the fact that God intervenes in the midst of our situations and that nothing's too difficult for him. In the natural, we may look at our circumstance and we may look at the situation around us and we go, there's no way, there's nothing I can do. The truth is, a lot of times, there's nothing we can do because we're not God, but God's not limited like we are. He's the Ephesians 3:20 God. He's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above and beyond whatever we could ask, think, or imagine. I'm telling you, his right arm is not so short that he cannot reach down and pluck us out of whatever situation we're in. And I love the fact that the verse says he saves us. He delivers us out of all of our troubles, not just the small ones, but also the big ones. He knows what he's doing. He has a proven track record of being able to deliver. You study the scriptures, you see time after time after time, when it seemed even impossible, God delivers his people. Even as you look back at your own life, I would encourage you to meditate upon the times that God has delivered you. When you were stuck and you thought there was no way out, but God provided and God made a way. Think about your family and how God has come through time after time. Think about stories we've shared from the platform, stories here in the church about God being a deliverer. I want you to know you can trust him. Just a couple more things for you to consider from this passage. Verse 18, I love this, says, the Lord is near to those that have a broken heart. Here's the third thing I want you to consider, that the Lord is near. This is the promise of his presence, that we're never alone as we go about this life. Aren't you glad that God hasn't left us alone to figure this thing out? No, he's given us his presence. He is with us. That's why he's called Emmanuel, God with us. And we know that in his presence there's liberty and there's freedom. We know that in his presence there's a fullness of joy. We access his presence through reading the word, through spending time in prayer. We access his presence through singing and through worship. He inhabits the praise and the worship of his people. But we also access his presence by staying connected with other people. Jesus said, where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in your midst. And we can gather via text or FaceTime. And as we're there together, Jesus meets with us. He is near. And even in the midst of this whole COVID situation, I'm reminded of Psalm 23, where David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not be afraid. Why? Because you are with me. So as you go about your day today, and as your day produces whatever worry or whatever opportunities for stress that there may be, I want you to remember God is near and God is present with you in the midst of your day. And here's the last thing I want you to consider, is that the Lord saves. The end of verse 18 says, and he saves those that have a contrite spirit. That word saves in the original language in the Hebrew, it's in the perpetual form. It means he saves and he continues to save. It speaks of longevity. It's something that goes on and never stops. What it means is God preserves our life. God preserves our family. He rectifies and redefines situations for his glory. He's at work in us and through us so that his son Jesus will receive glory. So remember this today. God, he is the God that hears. He's the God that delivers. He's the God that's near, and he's the God that saves. Be blessed as you go about your day today, church. We love you so much, and we can't wait to gather together soon.